We all have times where our reptile rooms just become an absolute mess. Well, why is this one such a mess? Well, me personally, I like to pass the blame on to other people, so I blame Scott's inverts for this.
Don't blame me.
Why though? I mean, when you get two creative people sat down talking, things just start flowing, things just start rolling, and what should have really have just been a simple design for an enclosure ends up looking sort of like that, thanks to me and Scott. We just got talking and talking. Let me run you through it. So, what should have just been a flat background, I said I don't really want to do a flat background, because if you do watch any of our content on our channel, any of the build videos that we do, because we do a fair few other build videos, they're never just plain and simple. We want to make the best enclosures on YouTube. And I told them I don't really want to do a flat background. So we've ended up doing a rock face background. We figured out the exact locations this tarantula comes from. You can see her legs just all the way down there. She needs a name, but I don't quite know what to actually name her. It's my little lad. He's been doing something in school with Goliath bird-eating tarantulas, and Scott said, I've got one he can have. So that's how we ended up with her. She's grown a bit bigger, so we need to give her a bigger enclosure. This is a sort of 30 tall by 45 by 45 Exoterra. And I just had a flat background in. I was drinking coffee, and he was drinking coffee. We were texting over WhatsApp, and just sort of ended up coming up with something like this. So far, anyway. Full rock sort of style background. It's all going to be shaped, and yeah, it's going to look beautiful. That video's due to drop very, very soon. I'm just waiting for the expanding foam because it's not really cured massively just yet. I had to stick this rock on the top because the expanding foam was pushing the hide all the way up. We'll explain all that throughout the actual build video when it does drop. When it does drop, watch the whole thing all the way through if you can, because that'll just boost up the engagement. Stick a like on it, you know the normal sort of score. We're going for a rock sort of background. We figured out exactly where they come from, the Atlantic forest in the Carpio Grande. So we've done the rock works background like they'd have in the cliffs. We've got the hide where it's going to be swooped down, deep substrate, that's why it's flattened off just there. It's going to look absolutely amazing once it's all done and carved and planted, and yeah. So that's one thing we've been doing. But the problem is, with expanding foam, we ended up with a big tub like this. That's the only jar of expanding foam we actually had. Well, that's too much to do in here. When you open expanding foam, you've got to use the full jar of expanding foam, which is too much to use in here. So then we ended up getting the big chameleon enclosure down, the one that was parked up over there. We ended up sticking a few more branches in. We've got a bit more foam there, and a bit more foam down there, and a bit more foam over there. That's all due to harden, but that's going to look amazing when it's done. That's why we're really pushing all of our build videos at the moment. But they're the two sort of main reasons why this reptile room is such a mess. I mean, we've got the big enclosure there with it getting built up and stuff. We've got that one down there laying down so the foam can sort of cure and expand and stuff like that. But what comes with it is like loads of bits of polystyrene and glue and silicone boxes, just loads of absolutely everything just to accommodate those enclosures. We've got all the mess down there. I didn't even realise there was mess there. That was hidden behind this enclosure. Do you ever get to that sort of point where you just think, oh, I'll put it behind the sofa, I'll put it behind the enclosure, nobody will know it's there, it'll look clean. It turns out that's exactly what I did. But do you want to know the best of it? I can't exactly tidy up either, because I've got to wait for the expanding foam to cure in there. I've got to wait for the expanding foam to cure in there. Then I've got to try and sort of figure out how I can get this little bottle out from inside the hide. When all that's cured, I've got to plaster it all. I've got to do all that. So I've still got more mess to actually make. I don't like mess. I don't like mess. We've got substrate under there that we're building. We've got more substrate under there that we're building. We've got all the spare little products that we use for some of the actual animals. It's just getting too much in here. I need a bigger reptile room, or I need a reptile house, or a reptile warehouse. Oh, yes. Right, make sure you hit that thumbs up button on this video and stick a comment. Just say hi or anything like that. YouTube will push it out that little bit more, and I might be able to get a reptile warehouse. Can you imagine a reptile warehouse? Imagine the enclosure we'd be able to make for popcorn. Look at him all the way sat up there. He's loving life at the moment, just stretched out nicely. He loves it. But imagine the enclosure we can make. A full sort of massive foresty sort of enclosure. I don't know, that's just sort of something. Oh, even Hugo. Where's Hugo? He's asleep in his burrow. Should we wake him up? Should we say, wake up, Hugo? Open the door, close the door, boof, out he comes. Hello, mate. Good morning. I know you think it's food and it's not food and it's basically just teasing you, but everyone wanted to say hello to you. Imagine what the neighbours in the warehouses next to you would think if they did. Imagine if they didn't even know you had reptiles in there. Imagine that. That'd be amazing. Imagine their face when they found out. But uploads are a little bit slow at the moment. That's just because we've got so many big projects on the go. I mean, this one, it's taken up to about 3 days so far to get to this sort of stage. It takes so long because we have to wait for everything to cure. I mean, the expanding foam we use takes 14 hours to cure, and then a further 3 hours to actually just finish curing, get that extra bit of hardness to it. We've got silicone holding all these bits together, so that's going to take to cure, and it just takes so long to actually work on these projects. But it's the same with this one. I am so happy we've started to work on this one again. This is going to be absolutely mind-blowing once it's finished. Obviously, it's laying down on its side, so don't expect it to be like that. But this is going to be for Mushu, our Callus versicolor. There he is, just up there. But Mushu hasn't got too much longer left in his life, possibly a couple of more years, and then we can move this over, alter this to be more of a chameleon setup. I felt dead bad about teasing him, so I've just gave him a little meal. He's just sat there basking away underneath his UV lights. I am wondering what's the next enclosure to build. After I've built that one, then I've built that one. I've got the invertebrate communal sort of setup to actually build. That's going to be coming along quite nicely. The sun beetles are doing great. They're over in there at the moment. They're doing absolutely amazing. But when they're finished, and that's finished, and that's finished. Okay, it does actually sound like a lot of work when you do that. But when you think that's probably got 2 days worth of work left in it, that's probably got 3 weeks worth of work, maybe 2 weeks worth of work left in it. That will probably only take me a week or so, but we're always planning ahead on Northern Exotics. What should be the next build? Should we build that? The only thing we're going to be doing with that is for the white tree frogs when they grow big enough, but they're nowhere near big enough just yet. So what should we do next? Maybe the Asamani, make her enclosure a little less dull like it is? I don't know. Should we physically build a big enclosure for Diego the bearded dragon? I really want to put him in a bigger one, a bit more arboreal as well. So do sort of like a 3 foot tall, 5 foot wide sort of enclosure for him. That'll look pretty cool. But when the big one is actually built, Mushu's going to be moving into that one. Then Charlie is going to be moving up into here. So maybe that's the next urgent one that I need to do. As soon as Mushu moves out, start building it up for this one. Maybe. Royal Python, slightly arboreal setup. Now, everyone will say, oh, they won't move, they're not arboreal. I've physically seen a fat Royal Python. It was a fat one, I'll give them that. It was a really fat Royal Python, but it was more muscular and it was constantly on the move. Now I don't know if it was on the move because it was uncomfortable or whether it was just on the move. Yeah, either way, anyway, I saw that in a zoo and it was a slightly arboreal and he was curled up in one corner, he was curled up down here, then he was moving over here. Do you know how like popcorn my Carlson Globe boa is? Always moving, just like that. So maybe I should do that. That might be the next. Yes, you know what, that's going to be the next one. So if you like Royal Pythons, you're going to like that. So we've got this one to build first, then that one, then that one, then that. God, we've got so much work to do. On the plus side, I do actually enjoy it, although I make it sound like a lot of work. Got my Mealworm Farm here. Believe it or not, it's coming up to its 1 year anniversary without maintenance. I haven't done a single thing to this. I wanted to see, back when I was doing all the breed your own live food videos, how easy is it to breed and sustain mealworms with the minimal effort put in. So with that, I literally just chucked in a couple of bags of porridge oats, chucked in 2 tubs of mealworms and left it. That's it. Every sort of once every here and there, if I feed Diego some vegetables, I'll come over, I'll chuck a little piece in. That's basically all I've done. And it's been about 2 weeks since I actually put any moisture source in there. Check out this time lapse of them actually. I put a piece of banana peel in there and just wanted to see what it would actually do. And they absolutely devoured it. So, I mean, it's definitely worth feeding them a little bit more than what I have actually been doing. But I've not had any sort of problems with fruit flies or anything like that. It was just, I just found it fascinating. So I've got a video coming out about that soon. A mealworm farm untouched for a whole year. It's amazing how actual productive it actually is. It does give me a lot of mealworms. But I guess I should just thank you all for watching this video that had absolutely no purpose, rhyme or reason. Peace out, guys.